All right, here we are looking live from the 4425. Welcome to Carpe Dime, a podcast about personal finance and everyday life. I'm Jamie Davidson.
I'm Dusty Simmons, and we're with Financial Center First Credit Union.
Thanks for spending your free time listening to us talk about how life and family affect us achieving our financial goals. You know, Dusty, sometimes as Americans, we get a bad rap. You know, people look at us and think, we've got it too easy, we're entitled and spoiled and self-centered, and at times wasteful.
Yeah, I know, but there's also a flip side to that, right? As Americans, I think we're known for being hopeful and not taking no for an answer and believing we can make our own destiny.
Yeah. We're going through, we've been going through the COVID thing for the last 7 months, and we weren't going to use that word today, but I decided to use it anyway.
Jamie uses it within the first 10 seconds.
So what we're seeing, though, during this it's actually pretty funny because we're actually seeing the job world's changing before our eyes.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And it's been changing a lot. And this isn't really about COVID, but we're seeing it change even more so during COVID, right? We're starting to realize you don't have to be in an office to work and to do your job. There's other ways around it besides what you're used to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But we're really going to talk not only about doing things differently with a job, but we're also going to talk about side hustles.
Side hustles. It's a buzzword, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of meat to it nowadays. So whether your goal is to simply make extra money, achieve a financial goal, or plan to leave your day job for fiscal freedom, side hustles can get you there. And today we're exploring the possibilities.
Right. I might be, doing a side hustle for the rest of my life if it turns out well.
That's right.
But all seriousness, though, let's talk about this here.
This message comes from Capital One. With the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One, you earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase and get big purchasing power so your business can spend more and earn more. Stephen, Brandon, and Bruno, the business owners of SandCloud, reinvested their 2% cash back to help build the company's retail presence. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus. Terms apply.
Did you ever have a side hustle or extra job? We didn't call them side hustles when we were younger.
Right.
We called them, second job.
Right.
Extra job. Did you have an extra job at all?
I had kind of what I would consider like a side job or part-time job when I was a stay-at-home mom. So
cleaning the house?
Well, that
Taking
too.
care of the kids?
That too. But no, we did a like eBay side buy and resell business.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me you guys would buy pallets of stuff and sell, right?
When that was like really big back in the early 2000s, okay. I did that.
So in your 20s, you were making that extra money from that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah, I actually did. Almost 18 years, I was in the restaurant business, bartending, waiting tables, managing. Mm-hmm. And every day, working 6 days a week, probably 70, 80 hours a week. I didn't call it a side hustle, though, because for our household, it was just our way to maintain, to have the style of living we wanted.
Right, and, us too.
And when we had the kids, my wife stayed home with the kids and took care of the kids. So this was a way to make up for that income. We didn't really see it as a side hustle. We saw it as what we needed to make ends meet.
Exactly.
So, but that being said, we're watching today's environment. It doesn't seem to be quite as much. I'm not saying that people work a second job aren't doing it because they need the money, but I see a lot of people that go out and work second jobs because they want to.
Yeah,
and it's not
or
really
they
just because
found
of money.
something they love, or
that passion. They find a passion. They find a way to make money out of it.
Yeah. So me, the stats person. I looked at some
stat of the day.
A new survey from Bankrate reveals that we are a serious country of side hustlers. 44 million American adults claim they have a side gig. And this is not a surprise to me at all, but the generation that's really making side hustles work is the millennials. So there you go, millennials, yet another feather in your cap. 61% of younger millennials say they earn extra money on the side every week. And 96% say they do it at least monthly.
I wonder if CC's got a side hustle. She's shaking her head no. She used to. Before she got spoiled working with us.
That's right.
And we also saw the median income from side hustles is about $200 a month, and about 25% of that make more than $500 a month. So that's some extra money there.
That's some serious cash.
Right.
So,
but here's the question.
What
do you do when you get that cash?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're going to go back to that S word and that B word and talk about what you should be doing.
We're going to make that tie into financial services here in a minute. Yeah. But let's also talk about the why. Why do people get second jobs, or why do they do something on the side?
Well, I think a lot of times, like I said, for myself, it was because we needed extra money. It was supplemental income.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And so were we. I mean, it was how could we maintain our lifestyle on one full-time income. It was that.
Yeah.
That's how we could afford to go on vacations or buy stuff for the house or
Right. It was funny.
comfortably.
At one time, I was working 3 jobs.
wow.
And the people were going, how are you doing this? Well, obviously,
How
the
were
third
you
one-
doing that? Not sleeping?
You sleep when you die. That's how it works with me. So yeah, for a while there, I did that. I think Gen X, we were really good about doing that. We worked the second job for the extra money.
Yeah.
We were talking about the millennials. We'll talk about the millennials and boomers as well. What did we learn about that for them?
Yeah, I think some of this is really interesting from a generational standpoint because what we're seeing with both the millennials and the boomers is that they are working side jobs. One of the reasons they work side jobs is to achieve freedom, whether that's they want financial freedom, they want more flexibility with their time, they want to work from a different part of the world or state or at home. So that's kind of interesting that those two generations are both kind of doing it for those reasons.
Yeah, and to get that desired lifestyle. You and I were talking earlier about our fathers. Both of our fathers are retired. They're in their 60s. My dad just turned 69 last week.
Yeah.
And he retired back in November. Well, he works 3 days a week. He goes and manages a donut shop 3 days a week. And I'm like, well, what are you doing?
Right. You're supposed to be retired.
And what about your dad?
My dad is 67. He was a government employee, so he retired at 55.
Ooh.
And he's had 2 or 3 part-time jobs and just went back full-time now. And I think, he does it for purpose and because he's bored and the extra money's great, but that's not why he's doing it.
I think he's doing it to build up your guys' inheritance. So when he passes, you got a lot of money. Yes.
That is so nice of my dad.
No, it's funny. They are so used. They've worked their whole life, and that is what's defined them. So
Right.
so many of them, when they are retiring, are going back on what we would consider a side hustle, not because they had to, but because that's what they're used to.
And I think there's an interesting difference in the gender of the boomers too, because what I see with men is they are going back to work for that reason, and the women aren't necessarily going back to work, but they're volunteering for not-for-profits and things like that after they retire. So I think that's kind of interesting that we do it for different reasons if we're for different genders.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you right here and right now, when I retire, I'm going to retire, but I'm
Yeah.
going to work a side hustle
Because
because I want to work at the golf course so I can play for free.
there you go.
Either that or I'm a bartend because I like, I used to bartend and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy speaking with people. And I think even when I'm in my 70s, I'll probably be able to pour pretty fast a pretty good drink.
There you go. So, and, I think a lot of people start out a side hustle for the last reason of the why, because they're hoping that it can turn into something that they can do full time eventually. And I see a lot of my friends and younger friends who are like, man, I'm good at this and I really like doing it. How can I turn that into my full time job? And my brother-in-law is a really good example of that. I mean, he owns his own market research company. But he started out kind of doing that as a side project when he was at a different company. And over the last 10 years, he's turned that into a pretty successful full-time gig.
What happens if you take something you're good at and something you have passion about?
Yeah.
And that way you play by your rules. And if you can create it to the point where it's successful, why not?
Right.
So we're going to talk about some hustles today. And I think knowing Dusty, she probably set them up into a number. Did you set up a number this time?
10. I got 10. Top 10.
10. So like David
David
Letterman Day. Hey, today's top 10.
As you can see, we're both from Indiana and went to Ball State. So chirp, chirp.
Chirp, chirp, huh? Yes. So number 1 we came up with was what?
Delivery.
Delivery. What do you mean by that?
So, think about your Grubhub employees, things like that. So
So we're not
food
talking
delivery.
we're not talking like pizza delivery. We're talking food.
it
Can't be,
could
but
be
we're talking
pizza.
but wider though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of, alcohol delivery. They work for, what's that company? Drizzly?
Drizzly. Yeah.
That does that kind of thing.
Shout out to Drizzly. I've used you in the past. Keep up the good work.
And it's so interesting because I think delivery is one of those things that probably went from pizza delivery 10 or 15 years ago to this whole other enterprise. So, those are people who are probably servers or bartenders 10 or 15 years ago that are thinking about, I want to work in this kind of way.
Right. Well, I think it's funny because you said that, 15 years ago you got pizza delivery and you got Chinese food delivery, and that was about it. Now you can get almost everything delivered to you, right?
I mean, I'm seeing McDonald's even delivers
Taco
now.
Bell. Yeah,
I
all
know.
of it. Yeah, whatever you
I know,
want
it's
comes
crazy.
to your house. Be careful, though. Sometimes it comes half-eaten. That's just what I've
Have
heard.
you- not from experience?
I don't want to get into that one today.
Okay.
Number 2 we have is, the idea of, used to be 25 years ago, You know, you might drive a taxi part-time. Nowadays, it's not driving a taxi. Now it's a ride share.
I mean, and think about how that went from major cities being able to offer taxi services to everywhere in the country has Uber and Lyft drivers now, which is pretty incredible. And, you know, the thing about both delivery and ride sharing is that totally flexible, do it on your own time, fit it into your schedule week to week as you want to.
Yeah, pick and choose. You know, if you just need to make a little extra cash this month to pay for something you want to go do that. It's really funny because I did see when a lot of the different things closed down during COVID. A lot of the teenagers that are friends with my daughter, that's what they went and did. They went and they delivered food. Yeah. So for them, it was a way to go out and, you know, they'd work 3 or 4 hours a day, make, you know, $40, $50 and be happy with it. And didn't have to worry about committing to, you know, that in case something happened at home. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a lot of people using that.
Right. Number 3.
Tutoring.
My goodness, let me talk about this one. So, as a parent of an 8th grader and a 4th grader living through COVID, I swear, if you were an ex-teacher who wanted to, you know, basically do private teaching, you could make a fortune this year.
It's true, especially for those parents that really are worried about sending their kids off to school. We're seeing them. They're creating little hubs. I've seen that I saw that on the news the other day. They're creating these little hubs where if the kids are doing online learning and the parents can't be home, they take them to these learning centers where they're in such small groups, and they're able to almost have like a school day, still doing their schoolwork with their school.
But with their tutor?
But with an adult there, helping monitor and walk them through, somebody that has experience doing that. Now, I'm going to tell you as an ex-teacher here, I'm not going to do that, but
but I mean, there's definitely a niche out there, and you know, tutoring not only from the standpoint of school, but if you're a music tutor, you know, guitar, voice, piano, whatever it is, tutors can make some pretty good side hustle money.
Especially like you said, music especially. I mean, we've always wanted to get the kids in piano lessons, but you know, we're just being cheap at what they charge for piano lessons. I just go, oh my gosh. No way. You know, I'll be lucky if the kid even likes to do it. So, yeah, if you're one of those that have a skill, that's a great thing to do. A new one that's come up is renting your residence, which, I mean, it's been around for a while. That's
like an Airbnb kind of thing?
Airbnb. We use VRBO a lot when we go on vacation, vacation rentals by owners. You know, it's...
Who would have thought? You know, you're going to vacation, and while you're vacationing, someone can vacation in your home and use your car, possibly, you know, rent out your car. Please, insurance companies, don't listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's it's funny. The idea of renting out, and actually, have you done Airbnb?
Yeah, I've done both VRBO and Airbnb.
And you know, I'm more of a traditionalist. I'm the old guy here. I still like the hotel and the room service. I need anything in the privacy, but I've done Airbnbs, and it's pretty. You can see some really great places on a little bit less than you're used to.
Yeah,
you just got to be careful. You know, some of them are just a step above a hostel, and at my age, I don't want to stay at a hostel anymore. Yeah. 21-year-old Jamie would have been fine with that. 50-year-old Jamie says absolutely not.
Yeah, but you know, the Indianapolis hosted the Super Bowl. Actually, gosh, it's probably been several years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago. But I remember that was when like this whole renting your house out thing had kind of just taken off, especially in the Midwest. And people were renting their house out for the week, for Super Bowl week, for thousands. I mean, you could definitely make some good money, no matter where you are.
The one we see every year, except for we're not going to see it this year, is at the Speedway. It's not usually the houses. It's usually people parking cars in their yards.
Right.
I mean, I've talked to people at the Speedway that the month of May they'll make $4,000 or $5,000 just parking cars in their driveway.
That's crazy.
And then if you let them use the shower, there's a fee for that. I'm like, come use the shower. But I don't know if I do that. But the point is, there's a way to make that money. If the more you think about it, there's so many different ways out there.
Be creative.
Now you put number 5 is what was number 5?
Freelancer.
But what does that mean?
Okay, so this is somebody who's got a special skill. Whether you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a writer. I mean, the list can go on and on, but there are websites like Fiverr and others where you can pay somebody to create something for you. I saw this thing online the other day that's Disneyfy My Dog. That's just the cutest thing. So you send him a picture of your puppy, and this guy's an artist, and for $30, he makes your dog look like a Disney dog. I mean, so if you've got a special skill that's creative, I think you can make a lot of money on the side just kind of doing what you love.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freelancer. I got to figure out something I can freelance on.
There you go.
Number 6, odd jobs. Some of the ones we listed here are dog walking handyman, babysitter.
I know. So this is one of those
mowing
things.
the yard,
I
shoveling the snow when you're a kid. Nobody does that anymore.
So,
I wish a kid would come knock on my door to shovel my
$20. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually fell a couple years ago shoveling, so I would pay anyone to do that now. But no, this is one of those things I've been talking to my 14-year-old about. Hey, like next summer, what are some odd job things you can do to get started making money? And so I think that's kind of where odd jobs may be one of those things your kids start out doing as a side hustle.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I think a lot of kids that actually get into the lawn mowing industry.
Yeah.
A lot of them start out that way. A lot of young people start that, and that becomes their
and they turn it into their business.
It turns it into business for the rest of their life, which is they can make a lot of money doing that way. Back to odd jobs, I think of one that I would probably pay a lot of money for. I've got 2 dogs. I'd like somebody to come clean up after them.
Oh, yeah.
We also see nowadays where they'll come to your house and wash your dogs. I mean, so there's something out there all the time. You never thought about it. Saw one the other day in the neighborhood. Are you ready for this? There's a service they pay for. They come out to clean your trash cans.
I would love that. I dropped my cell phone in the trash can over the weekend, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting.
We were having that discussion, and the wife is the one that got it and was so happy about it. And my wife saw it. She's like, that's a great idea. And the husband was like, that's the biggest waste of money there ever is. And I'm going, I think I'm on the fence here. Because ours can smell pretty bad. So, think about that. Anything you can think of, people are willing, if you're willing to do it, especially the dirtier it is, more likely somebody's going to pay you to do it. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I mean, as we talked about earlier, we're Americans with first world problems and first world needs. So, hey, if you want to clean my trash cans, be my guest.
I'll pay you $10 to clean my trash can. All right.
Right.
Number 7.
Make things to sell. So, for all of you creative people out there, crafty people out there, we've got friends who make candles, who quilt, who sew clothes, alter clothes, that kind of thing. If you've got a special skill.
My mom makes scarves.
Does she?
She makes scarves.
There you go. And she sells them on the side? Mm-hmm. So your mom's got a side hustle.
She's got a side hustle.
Good for her.
She makes scarves and sells them. And, this is funny that we say this because we're really talking about earning money. But when we get to the holidays, and we're going to talk about that, when you're good at something like this, everybody's always worried about buying people things.
Yeah.
When we get to the holidays, we're going to talk about how when you can do something really good, then that's really the best thing to do for somebody.
Right. And it's personal.
Like Courtney's a great baker. I mean, she could just bake cookies for everybody and be happy.
There's your side hustle. We've been talking about that, buying some stuff from you.
She can bake up some good. What's your favorite thing that she makes?
Salted caramel cupcakes.
Oh, here she makes some pretty good brownies too, and cookies. All right, number 8.
Number 8, multi-level marketing. And I know Jamie's already laughing about this one because he thinks it's a pyramid scheme. But, I have lots of friends who do some sort of multi-level marketing. I call it a mom nation kind of thing. But whether it's clothing or makeup or skincare or all of those things, shampoo, all that stuff. You know what? People make money off of it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Number 9. You told me about this one. I got to hear more about this. Number 9 is taking online surveys. I can get paid to take a survey?
You betcha.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So there are these sites that they are looking for certain demographics of people. And if you kind of put your profile in, and if you fit whatever company is looking to survey, they'll hit you up and you can get paid $10, $20, whatever. And in fact, if you know anything about market research, like they're getting so bad that people set up these auto robots to actually take the surveys now so that they can make the money off of it, but that people turn that into full-time jobs. Crazy. But if you like taking surveys, or you like being online, or you like being a consumer, you can do that as a side job.
I've heard some people are like paid to be trolls online and make comments like that. So I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard that. That's
a really good one that didn't even make the list, but like a social media influencer. Yeah. I mean, they make money.
They make a lot of money.
My gosh, how could I not think of that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
And number 10 here, we put to purchase or buy and resell things.
Yeah.
So when I think of that, I see the buy and the resale. I think of the resale. I'm thinking, golly, man, we need a garage sale. And the great thing about that nowadays is I don't have to do a garage sale. I can go online and do it on Nextdoor, or I can do it on Facebook, and I can say, hey, porch pickup. And I can tell you, as we're sitting here at the 4425 again, we have so many toys that had to be purchased for holidays that have not been played with since those holidays. So come about November, I'm going to help bolster my my holiday cash by.
You're gonna get your side hustle
I'm gonna sell
on?
some of those. I'm gonna get the side hustle on. Yes, for sure.
On the community garage sales.
On the community
You know
garage
what?
sales.
And I love these because I have bought stuff on them. I have sold stuff. It's super easy. And it's so much less stress than having an actual garage sale.
Right. Well, because at the garage sale, everybody wants to buy everything for a quarter.
Yeah.
Can I give you a quarter? No, it says it's $5. I'll give you a quarter.
In the first hour of the garage
Can I
sale.
give you a quarter? No, you can't give it to me for a quarter. It says $5, right? So yeah, it's funny. So buy and resell, and also those people, like you said earlier, with you in the pallets, people that go out and buy pallets and sell items off the pallets. I bought things that way. It's great because I save a lot of money, and that person makes a little bit of money. They take a little chance, and that's what it's really all about: finding those things that you can sell. Everybody, I suggest if you're looking to, that's one of the things I always tell people when they're doing their budget. If you're having trouble making ends meet, go through your house and see what you maybe sell. Usually we take it and either throw it out or give it away to a nonprofit
because it's easier.
Yeah, maybe some of that stuff you could actually sell for $10 here and $10 there, and then the next thing you know, you've got a little extra money on the side.
Right. So those are the top 10 that we found, side hustles that we found that you could consider, and if you haven't already figured out what your own side hustle could be.
Right. I'm sure there's many more out there.
I'm sure. So as we tie this back into what we do as a credit union and helping you improve your financial life, we're going to talk a little bit about what you should be doing with your side hustle income. And this is where Jamie is really an expert because this is where it comes back into what those two words you were going to say earlier, which are
budget and save.
Yeah.
So number one, Dusty came up with, and I sort of chuckled at her, but it is true. It's true.
Yes.
Taxes. Make sure you're having enough money if you're bringing in income that you're saving money to pay on those taxes. I see this happen to a lot of people that are actually self-employed.
Yes.
That they make plenty of money. They're self-employed and they know they have to pay taxes.
And they don't save for it.
Instead of them putting it aside, they get hit with a huge bill and then they're very upset. Now I'm going, well, you knew you were going to have to pay taxes. So if you're doing that side hustle and you're finding it yourself, you're making a pretty good income, make sure you're putting that money aside to pay for those taxes because it can happen. And a lot of times it doesn't always happen the first year. It usually happens 2 or 3 years later, and then they're going to come back for all those 3 years of taxes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if your side hustle is just something you're making, basically cash off of, that's one thing. But if you're going to go out and get a business tax ID number, you better be setting 20 to 30% of your income aside for taxes because Uncle Sam's going to want his cut.
Well, when you do your taxes every year, they're going to ask you if you made any money, any cash.
Right.
So whether you did or you didn't, depending on what you answer, remember, that's always a possibility there.
Yeah. Okay, so number 2, use the money to achieve your established financial goals, no matter what that is. Pay down your debt, save for a big purchase. But the big thing here is be diligent and don't go, that's extra bucks in my pocket, I'm going to blow it.
Yeah, and I'll use myself as an example of that. So for that 18 years, I was in the restaurant business and I would, earn tips. And I worked with a lot of different people in the service industry, loved them all, had a great time. Some of us were okay at saving our money. Some of us are really good at saving our money. Some of us came home most nights at the end of the night without any of our money because we went out and celebrated that we got off work. And so I would see people that would make $100 in a night and come home with $20 and they wouldn't wonder where their money went. Well, we went out, we had dinner, we had some drinks. It's really about maintaining that and setting it up. So what I chose to do with that after I saw how the money worked, I decided to get to the point where every dollar I made would go into my savings account. And then we take that money from that savings account and pay down debt.
Right.
And what I've seen a lot of the restaurants do nowadays is they've switched people over to like what happened. You used to get your credit card tips at the end of the night. They'd cash them out to you as a server or a bartender. Nowadays, they actually put that on your paycheck, which is what's helped a lot of servers in that industry, but get better for their savings and able to pay their bills. So make sure if you are making that money, it's not just mad money. Now, if the side hustle is for mad money, then that's okay.
Right.
If you've got the rest of your budget in control, that's fine. But if your side hustle is not for mad money, make sure you have it going someplace specific.
Yep. And so when we had ours, we had a PayPal account because we were hooked up to eBay. And so all that money would go into PayPal. And then once a month, we would cash it out and put it into savings or checking or whatever we needed to put it towards. But I think putting that money particularly in one place is probably pretty important.
Right. And the third thing is you want to save. We've talked a lot about this before, and there's these groups out there. One is the FIRE, where the idea is you're putting as much money away into your retirement and savings account as you can because you want to retire at a much earlier age.
Yeah, we've talked about that method in a couple other podcasts.
Right. And so if you're going to do your side hustle and your goal is to save and retire, make sure you're going through your budget and you're finding ways to do that in a successful way. like I said, I've gotten a little older. We talk about retirement, but I just.
Jamie had a really big birthday this month.
Oh, shut it. No,
He's so reflective now.
I mean, I don't think I could retire in my 40s. I don't know what I would do. I mean,
you use your passion and your side hustle as your supplemental income.
That's true. That's what you got me. You're right.
So what we've really learned over the course of the last few years is that consumerism is changing. The way we buy goods and services, whether that be online or we can't go into the stores now because of COVID, things are shifting and adapting. And the way that we make money is too, whether that be, you were at a full-time job and now you're full-time, but you're working from home, or you've used a side hustle, or you've developed one since all of this started. But the interesting thing about all of this related to side hustles is, if you dream it, you can do it. It's just that old American mantra. So find your passion, find a way to make money at it.
Yeah, you take that passion, little initiative, little hard work, and, you might be able to retire at age 45. And if you do, good for you. Come see me. We'll go out on your boat.
Yeah, exactly. So, in short, the financial world is what you make it. With a little initiative and some hard work, a smartly run side hustle can help you achieve your financial and life goals faster.
That's right. So if you find yourself on that side hustle, making that money that you wanted to, and you're enjoying it, and you're finding some places to put it away to save it, come to us, Financial Center. We have so many different ways to save money to help you earn a little bit more on your savings account and other places. We'd love to have you as a member and love to help you out and talk to you.
Yep. Short-term, long-term saving strategies. Jamie's got you covered. Carpe Dime is presented by Financial Center First Credit Union. It's produced by Jamie Davidson, myself, Dusty Simmons, and our awesome producer, Courtney Cooper. Financial Center is a 6-time national award winner in the category of adult financial literacy, and our goal is to
improve your financial life.
I thought he was going to rap it. That could have been his side hustle.
Back in the day, I am an OG.
To learn more, visit fcfcu.com/financial-education. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to our podcast from Google, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and now the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Thanks for
everybody.
listening.